lost until everybody I wasn't paying attention. I'm like, all right, that sounds good.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, got some audio levels, and we are broadcasting, so I will go ahead and we will start the show.
Woohoo!
The wasteland is a post-apocalyptic mess as the sole survivor wanders out about to see the rest. Nuclear explosions sending out the gamma rays from deep within the core, frozen atomic waves. From deep within the core, frozen atomic waves.
Welcome, Wastelanders. It's that time again. It is the Fallout feed.
Woo!
Woohoo! As you can tell, we're all super excited tonight.
So, favorite time of the week.
Yeah. Now remember, we are super interested in your feedback, so, tweet us, Facebook us. The best way to reach us is at our email, Gmail, thefalloutfeed@gmail.com. If you want to be part of our roundtable, go ahead and email us at thefalloutfeedroundtable@gmail.com. And this week I am joined, as ever, by Andrew. Hi, Andrew.
Hello, Kara.
Hi. And we have Dennis again with us this week. Hey, Dennis.
Hi, Kara. How are you?
Pretty awesome. How about you?
Doing well, thank you.
Welcome
Awesome.
back, Dennis. Good to have you, man.
Well, I missed last week because I was trying to catch up with my roundtable character, and I was up until the wee hours to try and be sure I got my feedback in because I didn't want to get yelled at by the teacher.
It really is a hard, you gotta be so dedicated to this project. The ruthless rulers at the top of this thing, they just cracking whips.
Yeah.
So says the ruthless ruler himself.
Oh, man. Those jerks, you just gotta tell them to relax. It's just a podcast.
Well, it's just such an unbearably high standard that, it sometimes it's just crushing.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. The high, super high standards we have over here.
Mm.
We had to fire someone last week because they're just not up to par anymore. It's just,
Well, I noticed Pat isn't here, so he might be wallowing in shame somewhere.
He is suspended, shall we say?
Yeah. Kind of like a forced extended leave. Kind of thing.
Well, as long as he's willing to write us a nice note of apology, anything could happen.
Well, he also said he has to buy us dinner too. I thought I remember him saying that. Right?
Oh, definitely.
So when are we gonna do an ASA get-together gathering?
That's a good question. Aren't we kind of all over the place?
We're all over the damn place, including lots of people in England, and even I think about half of our constituency lives in Australia or something. There's a lot of Aussies out there.
Sweet.
And I hope they notice I said Aussies and not Aussies.
Kind of like saying Melbourne instead of Melbourne.
Well, okay. That is something that bugs me.
Is it?
Because, we should just say Melbourne because that's how in America we would pronounce it. It's not like when we say, "Oh, I'm going to Germany. I'm going to Berlin." We say I'm going to Berlin. We don't pronounce it the way that we're not going to Mexico City.
Well, sometimes people say, "Oh, well, I'm vacationing in Paris this summer."
Yeah, and you slap those people because
Yes.
they're dumb, right?
Yeah, yes, you do, with the back of the hand, as a matter of fact.
Well, I just make it a point to be sure I still say Quincy instead of Quincy, just so I can piss Victor off to be sure he's listening.
Those East Coasters are quick to hop on us over here. Well, you're from the East Coast. You should know better.
Well, I was born in California, so I really don't count on a transplant.
You have no idea then, do you?
No, I'm corrected constantly. I can't tell the difference between a Philly and a New York accent. My wife hates me every day for it.
Yeah, I went to school just outside of Philadelphia, and I always loved the Philadelphia accent with things like Warder.
Yeah, Wooder.
I can't even say it. It's such a weird pronunciation of the word. It's like Woorder, Warder or something. I don't know. You Philly people, you crazy over there.
Well, my wife is a Spanish teacher, and she also speaks French, but she's convinced that Philly is the epitome of all accents. So.
All accents?
Yes.
Oh.
Not New York or London, huh?
Evidently not.
Sweet.
Although I am a big fan of the calling from oh my god, I
Colin
can't even do it. It's a
Colin.
tongue twister.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's incredible.
There's
That's
only one man.
the aspect of the podcast every week is when we say, I'm calling, and yeah, that's great. I was scared that I was going to point it out one time, then he would just stop doing it forever, but he still says it. Just
I
one.
remember.
Well, now that I'm on the bandwagon too, I'm sure it'll be like too overwhelming for him, and that'll be the end of that.
Well, I don't even think he listens to this show, so it's fine. We can
No. I noticed it only after you pointed it out in that one episode, and I was like, yeah, he better not stop that. That's pretty awesome.
Hey, and we got some more feedback from someone named Roy. I hope we get to that in the next couple of shows, just because it is an accent to die for. I don't. It has to be England or UK somewhere. I have no idea where, but oh man, Roy. Let's get to your feedback here. Speaking of feedback, Kara, did you guys want to get into some feedback for this week? We were going to spin off maybe another show, not like a whole new different show, but do our roundtable feedback in a little different manner this season. Last season, I think I've mentioned this before, that we just used to tack it on to the end of the show, sort of like as an afterthought. But I was thinking that's kind of a wasted opportunity to have good community interaction with the people in the Facebook group or on Twitter, because that's the one thing that we do like to promote on the ASA Podcasting Network, all of our community, is everyone coming together and having lots of interaction and all that. So we decided that instead of just tacking it on to the end of the show, that we would actually incorporate feedback into the show and maybe have us listen to it live, and then so we can react to it and actually bounce ideas off of each other and answer some questions and all that. So would you guys like to get into some feedback this evening?
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, Dennis, guess who's is first?
Oh, that's mean, man.
That is mean.
That's horrible.
It's on the top of the list, but we do not have to do yours if you are sitting here. I can actually tack yours onto the end if you'd want me to.
Yeah, you can tack it on to the end. I have enough shame going on already.
I thought that if you and Pat showed up tonight, I'd be like, oh man, it'd be awkward because you'd sit there and listen to your own feedback.
Well, I did mine super late at night with no energy and probably more than a beer or two in me, so I probably, I definitely don't need to listen to that.
I'll shoot. Now we're all excited about it. But we'll go ahead and start off the feedback this week. The roundtable feedback, Season 2, Episode 1. We're starting here with Justin. So, Justin, thank you for writing into the show.
Hi, this is Justin, and I went with the Minuteman General build. I used General Bethlehem from the movie The Postman as my starting point.
Have you guys seen the movie The Postman?
Years and years ago, yeah.
Is that the Kevin Costner one, right?
Yeah.
I am movie ignorant, so.
That's
Yeah.
that and
everything.
Waterworld were supposed to be the ones that killed his career.
I saw Waterworld in the theater.
Great.
Was it great? I hardly remember it. I remember the bad guy from Speed and Easy Rider. What's that dude's name?
Dennis Hopper.
Yeah, Dennis Hopper was in that. I remember that. There's something about drinking your urine or something, recycling your pee. I think I remember something about that.
Well, I thought everybody did that.
Yeah, you kind of have to.
Well, I do that now. But
Because
or you guys ever talk to a yoga instructor? Those guys believe in that sort of thing. You got to reabsorb those vitamins you're expelling unnecessarily, Kara. Come on.
Yeah, well, my body is definitely not done by yoga.
Yeah. Back to the Postman here.
Before we get into the assigned quest, I did something I had no idea could be done. During the Deathclaw fight, at the start, I shot the tail off of it while it was fighting the other raiders. This seemed to remove its ability to dodge and weave and made it a lot easier to kill. I decided.
Okay, so what did he say there? What did he do to that Deathclaw?
He shot off the tail. I didn't even know you could do that.
The tail. I didn't even. That must be a vast thing. The tail is just one of those things that hangs out at the back of the animal, so it's kind of like the power core or whatever it's called on power armor. It's something you always want to aim for, but I always get a 0% because it's always on the back of something. That's interesting. I never even thought about getting the tail of the Deathclaw. Have you done that, Dennis?
No, honestly, I just shoot normally I'm using the minigun, and I have nothing in big guns, so I'm just shooting for
Yeah.
center mass and praying that I hit something.
Yeah, me too. I'm always aiming for that body.
Yeah, me three. I mean, it's also so early in the game, so you're not really generally, depending on your build, that great with damage or what have you. So
Yeah.
you kind of go with what you can aim at best and shoot. But I guess this build might have been a little different.
Hi, this is.
Oops.
I should have known he would be a problem from the start. As we slowly crawled our way, I heard the sound of mole rats nearby. Seconds before, they sprung up all around us. As we stood up to fight them, I heard the sound of a suicider.
Oh no.
Worried that we had stumbled too close to some super mutants, I quickly looked around and seen a mole rat had mine strapped to his back.
What?
I barely had time to turn and start to run as Preston took a shot at it and blew us all up.
Okay, what do you say? A mole rat?
Who got close enough to a mole rat to strap an
a
explosive
bomb.
device to it and then just
Yeah.
let it go free?
That's Satellite Station Olivia. There's a couple more rats there that have bombs strapped to them.
What's the backstory for that?
I have no idea. I just know that I wandered up there one day, and I'm like, oh, there's a mole rat. I'll just kill that real quick, and walked up a little bit too close to it, and in pieces I went.
Wow.
So, okay, so what's strapped to them? Is it like one of those little mini nukes, or is it
No,
something?
it's like a bottle cap. It kind of looks like a bottle cap mine.
That's interesting because the mole rat would be moving, so you would think that it would set it off.
Yeah, I don't know, and I really don't remember any other locations. I'm sure there is some, and everybody on the internet can correct me, but I know I've definitely seen them at Satellite Station Olivia, but I don't remember seeing them anywhere else.
Is it like that guy who trained, quote unquote, trained the Mirelurks? So there's someone out there, quote unquote, training mole rats?
That's the second reference I've heard to this Mirelurk trainer in the last couple of days. I forget, where did that take place?
Wasn't it? I wanted to say it's a vault, but I can't remember because I've only run across that guy in like my very first or second playthrough. So I haven't run into him again, so I
Yeah,
can't quite.
I vaguely remember running into him before, but
Yeah.
that's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, someone mentioned it on the Facebook group either
Yeah.
today or yesterday, and that reminded me about it.
Claws are for hugging.
It was just a standard mine, and all it resulted in was a minor heart attack and a crippled leg. After a few more hours of sneaking, we had finally arrived at Far Harbor. Preston and I were coolly greeted by the town, but it was under attack, so off we dashed to the gates to their aid.
Attaboy.
This was where I learned two things. First off, level 8 is way too low for Far Harbor,
Oh,
and
man,
second,
yeah.
Preston is a suicidal beast.
What level were you guys when you showed up to Far Harbor?
I think I waited until I was 10.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and then I didn't stick around long. I was like, I would prefer to go level up.
Yeah, I stuck it out. It was really tough though. I've gone through so many bullets and caps and things just getting, all of my medical stuff taken care of. It's been ridiculous at this low of level being over. I'm up to level 20 now, but when I showed up, I think I was level 4 or 5 when I first set foot on Far Harbor, and it is ridiculously tough there at the beginning. Dennis,
Mhm.
what'd you show up with?
Yeah, see, I thought I remember reading on the Facebook group that you showed up, Andrew, at like level 7.
Was it
And I'm
7?
like that. Well, I might be misremembering.
No, it very well
but
could be.
that's-
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, forget about it. I think I was like 16, 17 when I went.
That's probably a little smarter. Everything I come across, just because I'm so low leveled, it doesn't necessarily mean that it is a peak level enemy, but most of the things I come across have skulls next to them, just because they're
Mhm.
so much higher level than me.
Mhm.
Let's see what Justin.
Well, yeah.
Oh, sorry, what?
Well, it looks like someone's extended leave leave period is over. So, Pat, what level did you first come to the island at?
Oh, with my original character or the
Round
I was
table.
well with
Round
round table I'm like at 20 or so.
See, that's smartest of all.
Which I think
is that what you showed up to the island with?
yeah. It may have been 19 or 19, but it was around 20.
Yeah. That's
And,
less.
and those first couple quests, if you don't like get drawn into the hand-to-hand combat with the gulpers and just stay up on the wall, it's okay.
Yeah.
And everything else is pretty manageable because you have Longfellow and
When
your
you
companion.
you go down and fight them hand to hand.
No, your stupid freaking companions do.
Mm.
Yeah. No, I
Weird.
definitely had a problem with that. I had to just give up and leave my companions on the dock.
Yeah.
But
Stay here.
honestly, it's not the Gulper fight that really does the most damage to you. It's the damn townspeople with the Molotovs that are throwing them willy-nilly.
Yeah.
What? You mean that's
true.
not helpful? Just throwing it willy-nilly?
Well, I mean, I felt much warmer than I did on the boat, but
There you go.
Way over. Cured my
Yeah.
chill to the bone. Hey, Pat, just so you know what we're doing tonight, we're doing some roundtable feedback. So we're listening to Justin's feedback right now.
Oh, terrific.
We'll continue on with that.
At this point in the Minuteman General build, you make a few modifications to your laser musket, which I had very little ammo for, and are okay with melee attacks, which equal a quick death on the island. Thus, I stood on top of the wall, slowly plinking away at the monsters outside, ravishing the townfolks who were begging us for help. Preston would have none of this, however, and tossed a Molotov or 5 over the wall, quickly turning the night into a nighttime battle into a hellscape as people screamed, monsters danced between the firings, and I ineffectively shot into the mess. All was going okay until one of the monsters stormed the gate. When Preston threw his next 2 cocktails, they both shattered at our feet, catching the entire wall on fire. After those of us still alive ran for our lives, I looked back and he was gone. As the fire subsided, I retook my place on the wall and looked over to see my man Preston down on the ground, bashing the monsters in the head with a pipe. Finally, after the fight took about an hour, it had all calmed down. With a sigh, I walked out onto the harbor and into the hands of fate.
Oh, good lord.
We figured we needed to gain some more experience, and Preston and I wandered off into the distance. Quickly, we found ourselves outside the Cliff's Edge Hotel. The fight to the vault went fairly well. Well, up until we came across the glowing one. None of my guns were powerful enough to hurt it. So,
Mm.
panic, I decided to just bum rush it and try the meat cleaver. It was my last desperate attempt. As I stood over its corpse, I was
What?
amazed.
What? As I stood over its corpse?
yeah,
Yes.
roll that back.
He actually got it. I was gonna say, yeah, good luck with that. I bet you he just reloaded and tucked tail and turned and ran to Acadia himself. But geez, standing over the corpse. Well, I'm here. Let's listen.
Never underestimate the Minutemen.
I ran across my first glowing one on my main character at level 20, and he killed me twice before I was able to kill him with a nuke. I just bedded one with a meat cleaver at level 8.
Wow, that's amazing. Hey, have you guys ever noticed? This is one thing I've noticed a lot with glowing ones in my game. That they're on these floating rafts out in the middle of the river or off the coastline, just like 20 yards or something, or they could be further out. But they just stand there and they can't get off the raft, so they're just really easy snipe targets. Have you guys noticed that ever? That's happened to me like 20 times that I just come across glowing ones stranded out in the middle of a river.
Yep, I've seen that.
That seems to be a big Far Harbor edition, because I remember first going to Far Harbor and looking across the water and going, there's a glowing one out there. What the hell's he doing out there? And he's just standing there.
Yeah.
And it seems to happen more and more. And, unless it's a legendary, I really don't waste the ammunition on it. I'm just like, all right, well, enjoy.
Buddy. Yeah. I've actually knocked them off and without killing them, and they just stand at the bottom of the water then, too. They don't, unless the banks were too steep for it to run out or something. I'm not sure if that were the case, but...
That makes no... if this was an actual zombie, that would make sense, but these are things that are supposed to have, humans, just rotted brains. It shouldn't be able to breathe at the bottom of the water.
Well, they don't need to breathe, do they?
They should. I mean...
No, they're dead, so they don't need to breathe, I'd imagine.
I thought that they were...
Dead. Are feral ghouls dead?
No, not Farragulls. No.
Okay. All right, Justin, let's go back with you here, bud.
Clearing out that encounter, I decided to help gather the tools to fix the wall since, well, My friend probably caused most of the damage. However, I was dreadfully low on supplies and caps to replace them. I did, however, have a lot of raw meat.
Was he's talking about the tools. Is the Mariner sends you out to get tools or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
As we topped the hill, we could see a fire off in the distance. Quickly, we ran to it, only to find it was contaminated and we could not cook there. That was the least of our problems, however, as a group of super mutants attacked us.
Oh no.
After a long and bloody fight, I had only one stim pack, 1 round from my laser musket, and 33 bullets left in my rifle. Things were
no.
looking dim indeed. With a heavy heart, I did something I didn't think I was capable of. Truthfully, it was out of desperation, but that doesn't make it any easier. See, we'd finally found the supplies, and we left the building. I was greeted by a man who offered me around 2,000 caps for them.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite parts here. I love this.
I added up my odds and threw my last 2 bullets into his head.
Oh no. No, that happened.
Yeah, that's the opposite of what I expected.
Decided it was for the best.
Oh, buddy.
Next, we decided
Okay, he set that up like I was so low on supplies, and this angel came to me with a present of 2,000 caps with which I could get any supplies that I wanted and all the bullets and everything. So I shot him in the head.
Well, you obviously went for the Colin option there.
Yes, the Colin influence is deep within this group.
No.
well, everything just kind of happened normally. The only thing of note was that I had to straight up confront Dima with Sakumi's issue because I couldn't lockpick or hack.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a
Rather
problem.
awkward, but it was an interesting encounter. After
Yeah, it's tough running around Acadia there, trying to find this information without being, you're low level, so you can't hack or lockpick anything. But I think you have to like steal some stuff off of Faraday's desk at one point, and I think you just got to be super shady running around this place. And they were just so open armed to you when you show up. You're like, oh, please explore Acadia and look at all of the wondrous things we have to offer.
Well, they are to a certain point, because I had the same problem. Like, my character is supposed to be, someone who will eventually become a super hacker, but the level I was at when I first got there, the Fudge Muppet Bill did not have me at, the level I needed to hack the terminal. So I also straight up confronted Dima too. And when you just straight up confront him and say, hey, there are these issues I'm hearing about, Dima goes, you let us worry about that. That's not your concern. Go along. I'm patting you on the head. Goodbye now.
Yeah.
So that's the only part where they're really closed off, and then all you have to do is, hunker down and spy, because you get a key, or you can get a key. It's in Dima's terminal room, but it's up on the walkway above it. At the very end of it, there's a table with a key on it, and you can use that to unlock the storage room in the basement, and that's where you hide and you listen into their super secret meeting. And then you go upstairs and you're like, hey, so I found this out. And Dima's like, oh, want to help?
I also found a key just up in the observatory room. If you just go upstairs, there's this winding stairway and then the sort of an upper level around the rim of the room. There's a key on that desk up there. I forget. What was that key for?
That's the key.
That is the key. Okay.
Yes.
Cool. All right, here we go, Justin.
this, we decided to head off to the Nexus to meet the children of Adam.
Oh.
This was something I had never done before. For my first run, I just killed them all at first sight. I have a little history with Adam.
Yeah, boo. Come on. We're all big fans of the children of Adam here. Come
And
on.
the glow. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Feel the glow, baby. Feel the glow.
So he's going off a little further into the storyline than we set up for the first roundtable episodes.
Well, we'll just see what he has to say. He's got another minute here. We'll
I'm just saying he's an overachiever making us look bad.
Attaboy, Justin. Attaboy.
However, after doing the missions a little bit in there, these guys, well, now I feel a little bad. they're not necessarily justifiable, but they're okay people.
Damn straight.
Apparently they're right. I mean, I did have the vision, and the island clearly wants me to do something, so,
Yeah.
well, maybe I'll be working with them for a little while longer. Tetka seems to be the only one that seems to be a real problem anyway.
And the other people are just
So far, I'm loving
victims
this build.
of the
I
circumstances.
went from low 8 to 15 on the island, and boy, was it a struggle. I have never done a lot of melee before, and this is a blast.
Nice.
I can't wait until I can finally get a weapon that I can upgrade fully instead of just adding another claw to.
Add another claw to. That means he's got a death claw gauntlet thing.
Nice.
For melee weapons, I'm sure I'm going to mispronounce it, Krem's Tooth.
I think that's right.
Over at Dunwich Boar, sort of in the... Where is that? It's on the northern half, I think, sort of in the north middle or northeast quadrant, maybe.
Northeast.
Northeast, yeah.
But Dunwich Boars, if you want to go back to the mainland and get a really good melee weapon, I'm sure there's one on the island. I know that there was something kind of like a ripper or a chain something that I picked up on Far Harbor. It was like a mini chainsaw that you stick into someone's gut and then rip them apart.
Yeah, that's good because it has the stagger effect on it.
Yeah, and extra bleeding damage or something was the legendary effect I found on it. So
You can get these fish hook things.
oh yeah, hooks.
Yeah, those are pretty good too.
You get one. Is it Avery? No, not Avery. Someone gives you one.
I think you get one from the Mariner at one point.
Mariner. That's probably it. All right. Let's see what Justin's finishing up here. Just a few more seconds.
I haven't done a lot of building yet on settlements so far, and that's my only real regret since, well, that's kind of the whole idea of the build. But I expect that to change in the future.
Oh, okay. That looks like that was Justin's submission. Thank you so much for writing in, Justin.
Yes.
Good
Yeah.
job, Justin. Thank you.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was great to hear from you. You did a great job. Please do more of the same. Send us in some more updates for your next episode. That was great. Good job, Justin. So we've got Casey next, and Casey is usually on the show, and that's no offense, Casey. Of course, we'd love to have you here, but now that you're not here, we can actually play your feedback. So we'll go ahead and see what Casey has to say.
Hello, everyone at the Fallout Roundtable. This is Casey with my Season 2, Episode 1 Santa update.
Let me turn this up a little
I
bit.
got assigned the Santa Fudge Muppet build, which
Yes.
is video
That's funny.
I love it.
a lot shorter and less structured than the other ones. It basically just says, this is what you look like, these are the weapons you use, and these are the perks you use. So, I'm bad at character building as far as looks. I tried to make them look similar, give them white beard, white hair, made them bigger.
Oh, it worked. Look at his Twitter feed. It worked.
1 perception, 10 endurance, 3 charisma, 6 intelligence, 1 agility, and 1 luck. He focuses on heavy weapons, and he wears Hancock's red coat with the ballistics weave. So I had to do quite a bit of prep to get all the weapons necessary before I could journey off to our harbor. So I got the junk jet by helping out the Brotherhood of Steel. Got the broadside cannon by doing the USS Constitution mission. I got the cryolator by getting Kate from the combat zone and having her lockpick the case it was in.
You guys know anything about the Santa build? It seems like he's picking up all of the cool, weird guns. You know what I mean?
Really, for that build, it was kind of a one-off from what Michael and Scott normally do. It was just, it was more of an aesthetic kind of thing where it's like, well, this is what kind of Santa looks like, and he would just use random kind of weapons and effects. It was more just for. It was kind of obviously a fun seasonal thing than a serious build on their part.
Uh-huh.
I was surprised to hear that he was only assigned 1 in luck, because to me, I don't know, it kind of seems like Santa's associated with all things
magical luck.
Yeah, and luck is pretty magical if you have
Yeah.
it.
Great. I have to jack this up a little bit, so if you have to chime in while his feedback is playing, just do it quietly, okay?
I got the shotgun from Libertalia just by storming the place and killing everyone. And bought a flamer from someone. And so I joined the railroad to get the ballistics weave. And I actually ended up I got kind of wrapped up in the railroad missions and did quite a bit of railroad missions. So I was able to get accidentally by level 23 by the time I got to Far Harbor. So I was able to put perks in all of my assigned perks, which is
Well, he was already at level 23 when he showed up. That blows all of us out of the water. Well, no, not Pat, but
Well, it kind of makes sense, though, with what he was talking about in terms of prep that he had to do.
yeah, he had to go all over the place and find all sorts of crazy guns and stuff.
Yeah.
One thing, if I could ask, just I'd be interested when people are doing their submissions if they tell us what level difficulty they're playing on.
Yeah, it's a good call too.
I mean, because not that I'm grading people on their difficulty. It's just that it's some of the stuff of like, yeah, I went to Far Harbor at level 2, and I'm like, wow, really? I'm like, I wouldn't even survive the boat trip if I was doing that on survival.
Yeah, I will first and foremost tell you that when I'm playing Roundtable, I automatically jack the difficulty lower because I have to take notes and stuff while I play it, so that's already a time-consuming process.
Yeah.
So when I'm playing Roundtable, I will play at either one or two levels below medium. What is medium? Normal?
Yeah.
Normal, yeah.
So I'll do. What are those called? I don't even remember. But usually just one bump below normal is what I'll play my Roundtable on. And actually, I had to bump it up because I got a couple of perks that are already making me slightly OP in certain areas with my character build. But
Mhm.
Yeah, again, I'm not playing teacher here and grading everybody on how they're doing because certainly I'm not the best gamer in the world. It would be interesting to hear what if you're talking about your build and what you're going up against. It's interesting to know what mode people are playing on.
And that's something I've always thought that I was like, who cares? I play for fun. I get super frustrated if I die 100 times in a row anyway.
I did in the
Uh-oh. Well, we'll continue on with Casey.
gunner, rifleman, armorer, gun nut, science, lone wanderer, life giver, solar powered, scrounger, and strong back. So I headed off to Far Harbor. I talked to Ellie, met the Nakanos, investigated the house, tracked Kasumi to Far Harbor, and at that point I had the option of going back to the railroad headquarters and meeting a character named Boxer and talking to her about the synth refuge that I found.
Did any of you guys rat out any of your respective factions?
not yet for the round table, but I did for my first playthrough.
What was your situation?
That was the Brotherhood of Steel was the one I had joined with at that time. And they were mostly at first the guy I was talking to was just kind of like, oh, why should we care? I really don't. And so I explained it a little more to him, and he's like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. You keep spying on them, and you let us know what's going on. And then nothing else ever happened.
You keep doing all the work, and I'll just sit here and not do anything. You just keep doing that, soldier.
And so basically the Bethesda experience.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, Casey.
Or that I heard about. So she basically said, yeah, go investigate. We're not sure if it's real or not, but we've heard about it too. So I went back to Far Harbor. I met the Harborman people, and that was the end of the first mission. Second mission started with me having to help defend the front gates from gulpers and anglers. And I was able to ask about Kasumi, the people, and they pointed me toward the old fellow. He said he would help me find Acadia for a bottle of whiskey. And I just walked.
That's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
I love an old Longfellow, surly old bastard sitting in the corner. Won't help you without giving him a bottle of daddy juice.
Well, I still can't get over his change of tone once you're out walking with him. You know, at first he's like, no, I have nothing to do with you, you mainlander, blah, blah, blah. And then you're out walking in the woods with him, and he's going, oh, you know, I've got this lovely little cabin, you know, just a little bit, you know, ways away from Far Harbor, and you know, just drop by any time. Just bring a drink with you, you know, we'll play some games.
He always has to work in something about bringing a drink along. And I like his just normal walking around phrases when he's just like, you're like, you know, you turn to him and you ask him about your relationship, which is always an awkward conversation that you never turn to anyone and ask them directly anyway. But you turn to him and you're like, so what do you think of our relationship? And you're asking this old surly alcoholic, which is awkward in the first place. But then he's always like, we've got the fog, but you know, as long as I've got my gun and a good friend and a pint to drink, then life ain't too bad or something. You know, just like, all right, let's finish up with Casey here.
With him to the front door of Acadia, and we parted ways. But as he left, he said I could use his cabin as a settlement, so that's where I'll store all my junk,
That's nice of
at
him.
least for the time being. The third mission starts when I enter Acadia, and I met a synth named Dima. He seemed friendly, and he said I could talk to Kasumi. And I had the option at that point to tell him about the railroad and tell him I was a member of it, and he was not impressed at all.
Oh,
Railroad did not approve of their use of mind wipes on the synths. So I went down to Kasumi, talked to her, asked her why she was here and everything, and she seemed to really like it there, although she had doubts about Dima's past and his goals going forward. And he asked me to kind of spy on him. I don't have lockpicking or hacking ability, so I basically just had to talk to him, and he kind of confessed to a few things, and he said if I helped him get his memories from the Nexus before the children of Adam find them, then that would save his lives, and that would give me more information on what he's doing there. So I agreed to go help him do that. And I went back to railroad headquarters, spoke to Boxer again, and was able to confirm that Acadia does exist. And she was excited about that, and she said that she would go to Far Harbor herself and talk to Dima to see if the railroad and the synths can work together, since they seem to have common goals.
Hmm.
3 Far Harbor missions were pretty simple. It didn't take a lot of no combat or anything other than killing a few gulpers and anglers. And I will pick up next time. Thanks for listening. Bye.
That's great. Thanks for writing in, Casey. It's always good to hear from you, especially since you can't be on the show tonight. You're sorely missed.
Yeah. Well, did he say that someone did not approve of the synth mind wipes?
Who? What'd he say?
I couldn't hear it on my end, but he said something about, you know, after he confessed himself to be a railroad member and telling them about them, he kind of faded out for me, and but I heard something about like not impressed with the mind wipes, or did not approve of the mind wipes.
I think Dima is actually against the mind wipes.
Is he? I know Faraday definitely is.
No, because he did a mind wipe on what's her face.
Against himself. He's because I just talked to him a few minutes ago before we were podcasting, and he was saying, "Oh, I asked him about his past. He's like, oh, but I escaped the Institute, and luckily I, didn't have a mind wipe on me. Luckily, like he's obviously making some sort of judgment upon the sense who did have a mind wipe on him. It was like definitely better to not have your mind wiped.
Oh, I like him less and less and less and less the more I find out about this asshole.
Yeah, I was asking him about his previous relationship with Dima and all that, and I'm kind of thinking he, instead of being this helpful guy to this whole cause, that he's kind of like a manipulative puppet master. Not puppet master to Dima, because Dima's definitely in control, but Faraday, there's something weird going on with him, definitely.
Just one of those manipulative kind of people. But he's also someone else, I can't remember who, but someone else at Acadia was making reference to Faraday's kind of reverence of Dima, and someone said, I know he's in love, but come on, or something like that. And I was like, aha, confirmed.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get that to work. That whole, who was the lady synth? The one story down who had the horrible brain headache and oh, I can't take it right now. This is Faraday's wrapped up with her. I didn't get that quest to work the first time through, so I'm trying to get that to work this time. I can't really figure out how to get it to launch.
I remember her original name was Jules or Juliet.
Yeah.
Don't remember what her new name is.
Yeah, and I found her locker, which is locked. I need to get into there somehow.
Yeah, there's something of hers on that ship somewhere, that shipwreck somewhere, and then there's also something in Acadia, and I'm like,
I need to figure that out. Pat, do you have any thoughts? Pat's still with us.
Yeah, sorry, I had to unmute myself. So Faraday is he's definitely sketchy, and I had the same bug issue because I actually dealt with Dima sort of accidentally. Dima's in-game progresses is very linear once you start it. The things happen, and I didn't have a chance to turn in the things to Faraday, so I actually still have that bugged in my quest log. It's turn in the memory disks to Faraday, and he won't take them because he's all Moby because Dima is dead in my game. So
that didn't take long.
Yeah, so I hate Faraday because he's all bugged out and won't let me clear that quest.
See, there's just no reason to like Faraday.
Yeah, that's
ever,
right. He's
at all.
unlikable on all fronts.
And he has big ears.
He does kind of have a weird shaped face.
He does, yeah. It's certainly interesting. I wonder who he was supposed to replace.
Well, guys, that was our first batch of feedback for episode 1. We just got to 2. We got to Justin and Casey. We've got plenty more feedback to get to. So we will sign off for this week, but tune in next episode when we will also hear some more feedback. We will get to Lee. We'll also hear some from Ray and Roy, definitely. And who knows, maybe even some Dennis and Patrick. We might have to spin those off into their own episodes because, guys, you brought the heat with your feedback, so I don't know if anybody told you that. Jeez. Good stuff.
Nothing succeeds like excess.
Well, I can't wait to hear him now.
Yeah. So we will go ahead and sign off for this evening, but tune in with us next week when we'll get into more feedback for Season 2 of the Fallout Roundtable.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the Roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout Feed, a Skyrimatic podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the wasteland.
See you in the wasteland.
See you on the island.
Bye.
Alrighty, I got that file shut down. Let me save that really quick. And then start a new file, and we'll go right into it. That was the Fallout Feed number 40. Deck 1. Alright. Casting. Sorry, guys. Feed. Audacity data. There we go. Alright, that one's saved. Let's see, let's close and open a new one. And let me do the intro. Queued up, and we're ready to go. You guys cool?
Ready.
Let's go.
The wasteland is the post-apocalyptic mess as the sole survivor wanders out about to see the rest. Nuclear explosions sending out the gamma rays from deep within the core of frozen atomic waves. From deep within the core of frozen atomic waves.
Welcome, Wastelanders. It's that time again, the Fallout Feed. This week, I am joined by Andrew. Hi, Andrew.
Hi, Kara.
Joined again by Dennis. Hi, Dennis.
Hi, Kara. How are you?
Pretty great. And straight off the bat this time with Pat. Hey, Pat. Hello.
We lost Pat.
We
Oh
lost
no,
Pat.
it's the muting. I just can't deal with the muting. Hey, Kara, how you doing?
I'm doing good now that I can hear your voice. As always, please write into us, talk to us. We love to interact and talk with you. You can always reach us at thefalloutfeed@gmail.com. And of course, with this season's roundtable, go ahead and ping us at falloutroundtable@gmail.com. You can still get started. So are we going to continue this week with some more Fallout Feed or Fallout Roundtable feedback?
Yeah, let's get into some feedback. First off the bat here, would like to remind you guys to listen to last episode for some good feedback from Justin and Casey. Those guys, really good job with your feedback. Keep sending in the good stuff, guys, and we'll go ahead and roll right into Lee. So here is Lee from Georgia. After a brief loading intermission, hello, spinning circle.
I was worried I disconnected again.
No, he didn't disconnect. Is it?
Hi, Fallout Feed guys and gals. This is Lee Benjamin. Playing the Fudge Muppet Santa character has been interesting because I usually use followers, but it's specifically built to not use a follower. So I'm going to try to stick to that. Of course, that means I'm going to miss the Nick interaction in Bar Harbor again.
I think I need to watch this Santa pitch from the Fudge Muppet guys. Why would Santa not have follower?
Yeah, he has elves.
Didn't he have elves? And we were discussing on the I think on the round table maybe that like he should be able.
Radstags.
Yeah, he should be able to get 8 tiny radstags.
Yeah, there are even albino radstags, which you
Yeah,
know give that more winter look.
Yeah,
so.
You know, that's something that only you and Andrew would pay attention to. I would never think about albino radstags for a Santa build. I'm too busy worried about, okay, is this weapon right? Is this weapon right? You're out there going, oh, there's a radstag. Oh, there's a kitty. Oh, this is a good game.
You could have a glowing radstag to be Rudolph.
Yes, you can.
That'd be amazing.
Oh, I need this to happen.
I really like that the Santa build has the junk jet as one of its main weapons, so you can shoot teddy bears and toy cars and the toy trucks, and you can shoot toys at people. I think that's pretty cool addition.
Forcefully bring joy to the people. Isn't that what Christmas is about?
Bring joy right to their face.
Yeah. That's why everywhere you go, starting in like November or October or September, everywhere you go, there's Christmas music being just squished right into your ears.
Yeah. All right. Hopefully you like the Christmas music, Lee. Here we go.
In the spirit of the Fudge Muppet character, Santa, I'm sticking to the assigned perks, just adding to those. I'm not adding anything to my special numbers. I did have to kind of fix it at the beginning because I was a point short when I got to luck. So the stat that was 10, I took one off of that, and then my first level up, I put the point back on that stat. I forgot that the Fudge Muppet characters had a progressive plan up to level 50. So I've just been adding stuff to the original stats as I felt I needed it, which seems to have worked pretty well. I mean, I haven't really missed the fact I haven't got a follower. He's got strong enough stats to where he can carry lots of stuff, and seems to be doing okay in combat. Santa made his way north to Nakano residence, and when he...
Now, he said Santa can carry a lot and all that. I wonder if Lone Wanderer is built into that build, because if he doesn't have a follower and can carry a lot, I know that those are two of the things that go really well with that perk.
I'm pretty sure it includes it because I think Casey is using the same build and he mentioned it last episode.
Okay, cool.
Okay, that's good. 'Cause you were talking about details we catch. You caught that, and I did not.
That's why we have smart people on with us, Kara.
Yeah, thank God, because I don't have a brain.
I don't remember stuff either.
Up to 16. So he'll be starting Far Harbor at level 16. Santa made it to Far Harbor, met Captain Avery, and helped defend the hull. Next stop was talk to Old Longfellow. On the way to Acadia, Santa and Old Longfellow run into an ambassador from the Children of the Atom. Unfortunately, Santa hasn't had much patience with the children in the past, and he kind of, shoots her in the head.
Ho, ho, ho!
Santa, how can you, buddy?
Oh dear.
So this is the second, maybe third time this has come up, and with the roundtable and in the feedback, that you meet a Children of Adam representative on your way up to Acadia when what's his name, Old Longfellow is escorting you up that direction.
Oh yeah.
I never ran into that.
Really?
Person.
I think it's a canned encounter. How did you miss it?
Because
he's Andrew and he and Casey just barrel through these.
We do. We barrel through stuff. We're bad at that. But
you have an amazing skill.
Also, I was doing the first couple of perks they built into my. I'm doing a Children of Adam worshiper. It's called the Inquisitor, is my build, but it is also a loner. I use the Lone Wanderer perk. But by the time I'd gotten to Far Harbor, they'd also worked in like Ninja and Sneak, and I think Ninja adds maybe a 4 times sneak attack for melee and 2.5 times for ballistic or gun damage. But I was doing lots of sneaking around and stabbing of things with my combat knife, and then somehow Longfellow and I got separated. And I just couldn't find him anywhere. I looked around for 10 minutes. I walked all the way back, went up to his place. He wasn't at his place. Walked back to Far Harbor. He wasn't there. And I don't know what happened to him. So I just decided to truck it all the way up to Acadia by myself. And I didn't go up the roadway. I just kind of, hopped up the mountainside best possible.
That explains it.
I did not run into that canned interaction because I didn't follow the road. Was it on the road, I assume?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just kind of went straight there. I didn't follow the path or anything.
Yeah.
So that's how I would have missed it. Let's check back in with Santa. See you, Lee, here. Got a couple more minutes on this. Lee sent in 2, so we'll power through this first one here.
They'll have to see if there are repercussions later. Santa made it to Acadia and met Dima and several of the other characters up there. Santa hasn't built up his thieving or hacking skills yet, so that makes some of the Dima quests kind of difficult. I guess he's going to have to put some points into those. Well, to get points, you need to earn points, so that means side quests. Santa started helping out the people in Far Harbor, did a few missions for the Dalton family. Santa and Old Longfellow made it to the Dalton farm and took care of the fog crawler there. Then they started fixing the fog collectors. Then they found the second fog crawler. Then the 4 bears. Then the rabid dogs. They took it all, but they got through all of it. defend the hall. Next,
Oh shoot! I just skipped them back a little bit. Hey, did you guys do that? The Dalton family thing where you fight all the fog crawlers and then the bears and all that.
I think I only did the initial fighting of the big fog crawler.
Yeah, there's another one that shows up, and then there's waves of stuff that come after you. I think even some gulpers show up and all that for the Dalton.
Wait, you're talking about the defend the farm?
Yeah, or
Oh, that's
defend the
terrible.
farm or set up the fog condensers. I'm not even sure which one it was, but yeah.
It's the defend the farm that's just terrible because everything on the island comes after you.
They send, I think, a wave of every new enemy, don't they?
I think so, yeah.
All right, Santa.
made it to the Dalton farm and took care of the fog crawler there. Then they started fixing the fog collectors. Then they found the second fog crawler. Then the 4 bears.
Sorry, I accidentally
Then the
skipped
rabid
it
dogs.
back a little bit.
It took a while, but they got through all of it. Santa returned to Acadia and figured out that there was a way to not have to pick the lock to listen in on the conversation. It turned out that he could find the key instead. It got lost by a guy named Cog. Oh, Dina's secrets. It's only a short conversation before Santa knows what he must do to fulfill Dima's plan for the children of the atom. That's all for now. I'll see you in the wasteland.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's the first one from Lee. So I'll go ahead and get the second one rolling. What do we think of Santa so far? We've heard 2 people got the Santa build for random hits. That's pretty sweet. I'm enjoying the Santa stuff so far.
I kind of like that he made mention of, like, it only took one conversation for Santa to know, and it's like, see, Santa has his ways. Santa has his ways.
Yes.
So,
He knows when you've been sleeping.
yeah.
One thing I think they should have put into the build, though, is hacking and lockpicking, because who else can get into anyone's house anytime he wants to other than Santa Claus?
That's a
Yeah,
good point.
you should watch the Santa build. It's not. I think Dennis might have mentioned it's not really a fully formed bit. Instead of the 20-minute video with
Yeah.
complete everything, it's like a 6-minute video with just
Static
different
one,
clips. Yeah, so it's just kind of a Christmas gag more than a real build, I think.
But what's more awesome than when you shoot somebody and you get to scream ho 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 right at them?
Oh, bitches.
It's a heavy build they both mentioned, correct?
Yes.
I remember Victor posting at some point. Someone had souped up. Had to be a mod, I'm guessing, but had souped up a power armor suit all in red and white, and then their minigun had a candy cane stripe on it, so that when it spun, it looked like a barber pole or whatever. So
Oh, sweet.
that had to be a mod, I'm guessing, but it was a Christmas thing. So
Yeah. I think Lee mentioned, he hasn't really put all of the perk points where he should, whereas, I think he forgot and he didn't realize what he was supposed to do. It reminded me of when we did the round table. I said, oh yeah, my character is going to get what is it? Robotic science, the thing to do with robotic science.
Robotic expert.
Robotic expert. That's one of the trails my character doesn't go down in terms of science, and it makes absolutely no sense to me. But she does get into heavy gunner.
you should skip that heavy gunner and do robotics instead. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're going to do automatron, with anything less than a really fine-tuned character, you want robotics expert.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And she is so physically weak, and so on and so forth.
Robotics is cool. Have you played with it yet at all?
No, I haven't, which was why I was kind of excited about playing.
Yeah, I had a character who had it. You should definitely abandon that heavy gunner and put it all in robotics expert instead. And let me remind everyone at this point that this is supposed to be a project of fun. So if there's any sort of objective that you need to slightly alter in order to fit a build a little better, or things you need to do to make it a little more fun, I am perfectly okay with that. This is not a stickler project where you have to stick to every rules, and we like to hear about the variance of your adventures too. So if you do go off in sort of a different direction, please let us know why, why it didn't make sense that you wanted to do this, and why you had to do this different, why your character wouldn't go off in that Fudge Muppet direction, but you had to spin it in this direction instead. Like, let us know that. We're perfectly okay with that, and I'd actually like to hear that sort of thing. So we'll go ahead and continue on with Lee. Lee sent in another feedback, so we'll hunker down and listen to Lee number 2 here.
All right.
Hi, Fallout feed guys and gals. This is Lee Benjamin. Santa made it to Far Harbor, met Captain Avery, and helped defend the hull. Next
Wait a second.
stop was talk to Old Longfellow and head to his residence, where there's a workbench.
Is this
On the way
different?
to Acadia, Santa and Old Longfellow
I think so.
met an
Okay.
ambassador from the Children of the Atom. Unfortunately, Santa hasn't had much patience.
Oh, no, it's not.
Okay. I think
And-
he
and,
hooked two together and
you know,
sent them or something. So.
shoots her in the head.
All right.
So,
Well, I remember his emails to you. I think I was super excited.
Yeah.
What are the other characters up there? Santa.
Yeah, Lee sent in a few emails, shall we say. So a little mix-up, that's quite all right. Hey, Lee, thanks for sending in the feedback, man. Keep up your good work, and we'd love to hear back from you again soon. We've got a couple from Pat that we will put in with Dennis on a separate episode probably here, but we've got a couple. We actually got 2 from Ray as well, so we'll listen to a couple from Ray, and then we'll hopefully get into Roy here at the end. Roy is the accent I mentioned in a couple of episodes ago. Super sweet stuff. So we'll get into Ray and Roy here.
Hello, this is Ray, and this is my Fallout Roundtable build for Season 2. My character is the Fudge Muppet Chinese spy, and so I gave her the name Liu Ulan, who was one of the early communist spies. She's a Chinese hero from 1947 when she was killed at age 15. My character started out with 7 strength, 1 perception, 3 endurance, 1 charisma, 5 intelligence, 10 agility, 1 luck, and I used the Sanctuary special book for strength. This is a stealth character. She uses sneak, ninja, blitz, gunslinger, and big leagues are the main perks.
What are Gunslinger and Big Leagues?
Gunslinger is the pistol, and Big Leagues is the melee.
That's incremental damage, 20%.
Mhm.
Yeah, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, yeah. And Big Leagues is the one that lets you knock off your opponent's head, and it gives you the crowd cheering when you do that.
That's one of the best sound effects in the game, by the way.
Yeah.
I've never heard it. That's great. I'll have to go look it up on YouTube or something. That's cool.
Yeah, I saw a clip on Vine, and that was when I was introduced to the Big Leagues perk, and I was like, that is genius. Absolute perfection.
All right, we'll continue on with Ray here.
And this is my playthrough for Far Harbor. So Leo spent several days combing through the wasteland, trying to get her feet under her, figure out where she was, and if she was going to be able to contact her people. She started searching up the coastline and tried to find some listening stations to make contact. She came across a Japanese family who was missing their daughter and offered to help because it gave her a boat that gave her some additional mobility. She took the boat to Far Harbor.
She, a Chinese spy helping a Japanese family. What were the Chinese-Japanese relations in the 40s, guys?
Don't think it was too good.
Well, maybe it had worn by 2077.
But, yeah, exactly.
We're not in the 40s anymore. You guys are right.
Yeah, but I think it's really cool that he based his character off of someone who was real, right?
Yeah, a real historical figure. That's genius.
That is fantastic.
Now, how they got into the future.
She didn't actually die when she was 15, in fact.
Ghoul.
Yeah. One of the better looking ghouls, but...
Just didn't wither. Unwithered ghoul.
Because it was programmed to go there by Mr. Nakano. And when she arrived, she was met by a couple of harbormen and was enlisted to help fight off some gulpers and anglers that were attacking the settlement. From there, she was directed to contact a tracker that would be able to take her to Acadia. She met up with Longfellow and had to bribe him with whiskey to get him to take her with her. Off they went. Encountered the usual impediments on the way, fought off some trappers, some wolves, and had an interaction with the Child of Adam before being delivered to Acadia. Once there, we went in and insisted that we were not a synth, and so continued on and went to talk to Kasumi. And when talking to Kasumi, we didn't have the charisma in order to get us to convince her that she was not a synth, so a synth she is. That sent us off to talk to Dima and to find out what was wrong. Talking to Dima, also didn't have the charisma check to be able to convince him to tell us what was going on. So we had to.
Sorry, go ahead, Dennis.
That's awesome. It's like my speech check determines whether you're a synth or not. I'm like, oh well, too bad. You're screwed. You're a synth.
Yeah,
or you're not a synth.
I answered that I was a synth when Dima asked me.
Oh yeah?
Because technically I am, because I did the alternate start mod.
Oh.
And you're a synth who wakes up in the Institute. For both, there's two of them. I forget which one I'm actually using. Another Life, I think it might be called.
Mm-hmm.
But, so yeah, I'm technically am a synth. So I actually answered, yeah, sure, I'm a synth.
I wasn't really pleased with the dialogue options for that interrogation.
I agree.
Yeah, like no matter what you answer, it always leads to, oh, well, you could be a synth, especially if that's the first memory. Well, of course that's not the first memory someone has, but of course it could be related to the time spent in cryogenics and so on and so forth. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, it's all that touchy-feely philosophical crap anyway. Whatever.
Whatever. Give me my bang bang shoot 'em up.
More malleable character in Cog, the mechanic that is on the second level. He told us that he was clumsy and dropped the key to the storage room. We got the key, went to the storage room, and listened in to a conversation between Dima, Chance, and Faraday, and discovered the plan to create a software package that would access Dima's memory inside the facility that the Child of Adam occupy at this point. I went and stole the program and have gone back and told Kasumi what my plans were, and she completely geeked out over the software hack.
Good call.
Where you belong. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, that was the first one Ray sent in. He also sent in some more. We're talking about being down in the basement of Acadia and observing the secret meeting between Chase and Faraday and Dima. Now, there is in that storage room yet another terminal that opens another door, and they are both master locked. I don't know if they're actually in there, but they're somewhere down in the Acadia in the basement. There's a master locked door. Has anyone been in there yet? Is there something really awesome in that room?
No, my hacker level's not up high enough, but I really want to know because my last character couldn't get into it either, and so I'm bound and determined to get in there.
Well, that makes sense with your character. You should be masterful at the hacking at least, if not, lockpicking.
Well,
it's too soon.
I hate to be Debbie Downer on that, but more often than not, if it would be nice if you had master lockpicking or hacking skills that, when you open a safe or whatever, you actually get, a better quality of loot. But it really doesn't seem that the loot changes or the options change. If it's something that they want you to go in there and see, they'll make it a novice or find a way to get you with a key. But I'm always a little bit disappointed about I spent 4 points in this and I'm getting 2 more shotgun shells than somebody else.
Yeah. I totally agree with you and I see what you mean, but there's always, now that I don't have the lockpicking ability. Whenever I come across something I can't get into, I'm just overwhelmed with this need to know. I dance around the object. I'm like, I want to know. I want in. Well, I'll never know now. I can't remember from a previous game where I never stumbled across it before. I want to know.
Are you allowed to have followers with your scientist build?
Yeah, but they're only the robots or synths.
Ooh, there is a lockpicking robot. I had a lockbot.
Oh, that's true. I could build one with the automatron.
Yes, build a lockbot partner.
Yes, that's what I'm gonna do.
Can those things do master?
I don't know. That was the point I was just about to say. It's like I bet you they can do advanced, but I doubt.
They can do it, but you may have to have them do it over and over again, and they will get locked out. So you may have to wait a little while, but I believe they can. I mean, I'm pretty sure Nick can. I don't know about the other robots.
Speaking of getting locked out, that really fooled me the first time that Nick was like, "No, I'm locked out." I was like, "Fuck, we're done." So
well, that's how it used to work in the previous Fallout games.
Yeah,
oh, absolutely.
It was permanent.
I just walked away because he said like, "Oh, we're locked out." They didn't know it's reset in like 15 seconds or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, there are sometimes, though, that the game glitches out because Bethesda, and I keep asking him, like, even 10 minutes later, hey, get back in there. And he goes, that's impossible. What are you talking about, you crazy flesh bag? What do you want me to do?
Good insults.
No, Pat is right, though. In previous Fallout games, you would never get back in there, and so you'd have to reload and over and over again, and if you're as bad at hacking as things as I would, you'd be reloading like 6,000 times to try and hack the one terminal, and it would just be a note saying, oh yeah, I had lunch and I had a ham sandwich, and you're like, oh man, really?
Yes, but now you know.
It's the knowing that is the value, correct?
I guess for Kara it is, but like at the other Fallout games drum that out of me. It's like, yeah, okay, I'll miss a little bit of lore. Thank God there's wiki pages now.
Well, that's true. I could always just go to a wiki page.
Hey, let's start rolling here. Ray, number 2 here.
Leyu left Acadia with an interest in the usefulness of these robotic humans. She spent time interacting and familiarizing herself with the local human population. She found the Harbormen irrationally independent and of little use. The children of Adam are self-destructive and radicals. She went back to the Commonwealth to renew the search for her son and find more information about this institute that was creating the perfect people for making a utopian communist world, synths. The railroad has served its purpose, but it's clear that their goals are counter to a communist order. There's no room for free will. After hunting and killing the man that killed his husband.
I like that. There's no room for free will in his communist perfect. That was actually eloquently put.
Yeah, it was really well done. I was really impressed with that. That was sweet.
Yeah, well written. Did he pull that directly out of the game, or did he write that himself? I hope you wrote that yourself, Ray. That was nice.
Kidnapped her son. Leyu finds new competition in the arrival of the military dictators, the Brotherhood of Steel. More needs to be discovered about their apparent lack of vision. More needs to be discovered, but their apparent lack of vision as to the usefulness of synths makes them vulnerable. Reaching the Institute and finding her son, she is proud of his accomplishments, but is disappointed she was not able to raise him to understand the power of communism. She has to find a way to gain control, do more to extend the Institute's power to control the world. She has to get back to Far Harbor to discover the secrets hidden in Dima's memories. She's currently level 34. She carries a serrated Chinese sword with her perks, does 143 damage, and the Deliverer at 77 damage. When she wants to strike fear into her opponent, she has the Adam's Judgment, a gift from the children of Adam, that does 205 damage plus 269 radiation damage.
Holy cow, that's some damage, Ray. What was that one? the Atom one. I'm pretty sure I got that, but I'm supposed to use the radium rifle, so I'm not even carrying that around. It sounds like he's got his maybe his gun nut up real high or something. All that damage.
Yeah, more than likely he's got at least 2 to 3 points in there. But I could be wrong, but that's what it sounds like.
Gun nut's the well, I guess it could be gun nut and also maybe
what is the nuclear physicist or something that does the double radiation?
Yeah, and there's depending on if it's explosive or radiation. If it's explosive, it could be demolition expert because that affects the explosive.
Well, you get the benefit of both. If you have both.
Oh, it stacks like that. That's great.
Yeah.
See, that makes me want to start altering my. See, my Fudge Muppet build is kind of strange. Like the perk I just mentioned, the nuclear physicist, it causes radiation damage to multiply by 2, then 5, then whatever times. So I'm kind of confused as to why they didn't build that into my character, who's first and foremost supposed to get the radium rifle, which is a radiation weapon right off the bat, and that's supposed to be what I'm using. But they didn't build that into the character, and there's stuff like that I'm like thinking, man, this weapon could be twice as strong if you just. Once I get past level 50, I think I'll start looking at perks like that too.
When Michael and Scott do their builds, it's not always for like min-maxing when you're like trying to get the absolute highest DPS. A lot of the stuff that they do is included just for the overall role play of the character too. So a lot of times I've used their builds in the past, and I'm like, well, this doesn't make any sense. Why would you do? You could take this and you would get more damage, and that's not necessarily what they're going for. They're trying to merge the gameplay aspect a little bit with the role play aspect too. So you can always add and subtract what's best for your playstyle with their builds, and they encourage that. But they're just building something that's just kind of an overall arc to the character.
Yeah. There's a Twitch streamer, Weirdest Builds. He's the guy who had the Preston Garvey Terminator thing, and he's like kind of down on Fudge Muppet because of what Dennis is saying, like he's a very clever gamer. He really is very thoughtful, and he builds everything out like he wants to accomplish a particular challenge. And he's very focused on that, and I think he doesn't think the Fudge Muppet guys are kind of sort of top notch in the sense that they're not doing some of those fine tuning aspects that's really important to his style. So I think it's just a matter of he's sort of very very sort of advanced in the. I think Fudge Muppet for a lot of us who are just kind of in the mainstream. I think the Fudge Muppet builds are pretty neat ideas.
Well, I mean, the Michael and Scott from Fudge Muppet always lead off their videos with "We're all about the aesthetic" and about trying to create a character that's not overall super powered. If you're wanting to crunch the numbers, you can sit there and find guys like me, because I'm one of those types of gamers. I'm like when I play Oblivion, there's you can play the power game of you can add certain points to absolutely max out the character, but it's a real pain in the ass in the overall build. So it's just kind of what you're going for, and I think overall at ASA we're kind of it's kind of a more role playing centered group. So I think what Fudge Muppet is doing is kind of more what the overall group is looking at.
Mm-hmm. I would really agree with that. That's a really good point.
Fudge Muppet. Well, we've got one more last bit of feedback. Would you like to roll into Roy? So let's check in with Roy and see what he's getting into.
Hello, Wastelanders. This is Roy calling in from England. This is my Roundtable Season 2 introduction and update 1. First of all, I was given a female. I was told to be mates with X688. I was told to go and do something with Hangman's Alley, whatever you can do with Hangman's Alley. It's not much. Told to be friendly towards the Harbourmen and started with them. And I was told to love Preston, the neediest man in all of the Wasteland. So here we go. My character's name is Lady Madonna after the Beatles song. And I was given the following stats. S3, P7, E6, C5, I1, A1, L5. And the things I was told to go with that were Big Leagues, Rifleman, Aquagirl, Lone Wanderer, Gun Nut, Sneak, and Bloody Mess. After trying to love Preston for 5 minutes, I was really keen to build up that Lone Wanderer because he is my head in. On top of that, I've picked up some lock-picking skills, Idiot Savant, and I've picked up all the vendor mags with the Barter Bobblehead just because I can't be bothered carrying around 1,000,000 guns, so I'm just going to get a load of ammo for the ones I like. I arrived at Far Harbour on level 42, just because getting 688 caused me to, well, play quite way into the game. And I arrived with the following special stats: S5, P10 plus the special mag, E6, C8, I still low at 3, A, 4, and L5. Let's get you on to mission 1. Mission 1 was...
I could just listen to this guy talk.
That's just not fair, Andrew. Nobody can submit now. You can't beat that. You guys with the accents, it's just so not fair. Who's going to want to listen to me after listening to that guy? Give me a break.
Well,
Get out of here.
I take issue, though. He's dissing Hangman's Alley. Hangman's Alley is the best settlement in the game.
Oh, clearly there's not much you can do with it.
No. I have every store, and I have an adhesive farm, every possible store, and 20 beds and 20 settlers in Hangman's Alley. It's a complete slum, but
Wow.
it's a great settlement.
That's hard to do pre-garden plot, though, right?
Oh no, it's all about the garden plots. Yeah. Although a lot of the crap
Pre-garden plot, that would be tough to do.
A lot of the stuff in Hangman's Alley is actually dirt.
No, what you even if you don't want a garden plot, what you have to do is you have to be willing to not use any of the prefab Hangman's Alley stuff, and you actually need to break down one of the walls, and there's a bunch of dirt right near the Diamond City entrance side and the entrance towards where is it the Charles? I might have that wrong, but where the river is, and that's all places where you can plot without having to use garden plots. You can build, you can farm right out there.
Yeah, that's right. I broke down everything the game would let me, so I have a very bare bones build out, but I have a lot of stores and garden plots.
Hey, speaking of breaking stuff down, Pat, do you by chance know a good mod for scrapping stuff? That I need one that will go with my Conquest settlement mod. It doesn't let me scrap stuff in the settlement that I set up unless I have built it. Pre-existing stuff can't be scrapped.
There's a Commonwealth Cleaner or something like that that lets you scrap stuff in settlements. Although I only played with it a little bit because I found it was very tedious to go in because like if you try to scrap the brushes and the leaves and the piles of dirt and all that, it's a lot to scrap. Because all those like you look at one pile of dirt and it's actually like 5 things to scrap.
Oh,
and I found it to not be worth the extra effort. I think on the PC there's some mods that'll like sort of auto scrub for you. You just like do one click and it'll clean the whole settlement. But I don't know if any of that's on Xbox yet.
Nice. Cool. All right, let's get back into some dreamy feedback here.
From home. You're sent to the Nakano residence by Nick Valentine's lackey. You go and speak to some bloke called Kenji, who seems to not know his ass from his elbow. Went, yeah, I'll go and look for her. Had a bit of a look around the house, looked around the boathouse, found a journal, a holotape, key in a boathouse picture frame. I went and confronted the father, told him probably best me going over to Far Harbour and sorting it out. I asked him, is she human? Has she contacted since? Maybe she's a little confused, because let's face it, as a father, you're not a very good role model.
I give up on my parenting now.
Oh no!
I think it's fairly standard, and that gets me on to mission 2. Mission 2, on the jetty, I was greeted by Captain Avery and Alan Lee. Now, I like the cut of Alan Lee's jib. I really do. He's a grumpy bit like me. So I told him I was looking for Kasumi, but hang on a minute. No, you're going to have to go and man the wall. I mean the hull. Well, I did that, and I shot lots of things. And then I was thinking, well, that was fun. Went to the pub, took the Islanders Almanac magazine thing off the table, which highlights all your points of interest on the map. I got Longfellow to take me to Acadia. After Mitch sorted us some whiskey to bribe him. And Christ, does Longfellow mumble. He mumbled about all sorts of crap that I couldn't hear because, I don't know, he's just a mumbling get. Killed some punk trappers, some ferals, some wolves. I leveled up at that point, but I saved the level up for later on. Killed some ghouls, gulpers, Mirelurks, met some Child of Atom. I thought, sod them, you're a bit crazy, so I'll leave you be. Wandered off, discovered Acadia, got a few XP for discovering Acadia, not very many, a couple of dozen maybe, and sent Longfellow on his way because I couldn't be bothered with him, really couldn't be bothered with him at all. So for Walk in the Park, I got 458 XP again, and that led me on to mission number 3, which was, to be honest, a little bit more interesting than wandering around, doing very little. Sent me to talk to the leader, and for the sake of names, because I'm crap with them and I don't tend to write things down, I call him Elephant Synth. So I told Elephant Synth that I was looking for Kasumi, and I said, "Is she a synth?" No, don't know.
I love that Elephant Synth. Dima. I don't know. Just got a bunch of crap hanging off his face and head and stuff. I don't know.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Elephant Synth then talked about transition, etc., so on and so forth. Got a bit boring, so I kind of tuned out. And then, you know, X6 liked the fact that I said, well, I am human, so, you know, get on with it. Where is Kasumi? I'm in the Institute, so, you know, I'm not taking none of your crap. Then ugly fellow was like, I'm not your enemy. Do you value independent synth life? Don't tell anyone. Yeah, well, I'll think about it. 688 just to see what his thoughts were. Thought, you know, you might want to kill everyone. It'd be nice if you wanted to kill everyone. And he was like, no, we need more ammo soon. I thought, that's cool. That's cool. I spy a good massacre on hands. I like a good idea of that. So, went and saw Kasumi. Told her the parents sent them. Told her she wasn't a synth and she was a bit daft. Then she sent me to go after the secret, go and find some memories of Elephant Synth. So I went and did that, went and spied on Elephant Synth, Faraday and Chase, possibly the worst boy band ever.
Oh my god.
Or anything like that. So I went and lockpicked a few doors, found myself into a side room not far from where you're meant to go and eavesdrop, and I found a load of swag. Guns, ammo, fusion cores, 3 mini nukes, and then found another expert lock, more swag, 12 missiles amongst all of that booty. Before I waited for this meeting, and then they were chatting shit about High Confessor Tectus, who sounds a bit of a cock. Bit like Ugly, really. He's, you know, Elephant Synth is not the greatest person in the world. Suppose I better break into these memories they're talking about. I can't really trust these whoppers, so I might as well do it myself. So I went and grabbed the holotape from the office computer room, found another 3 mini nukes and an ammo box by the bed, and went to tell Kasumi about it. Told Kasumi what the crack was. She mused about it a lot. She kind of went round and round and round. I just went, no worries, I'll go and sort it. That brought up the end of that mission, and I got 572 XP for that, which seemed pretty easy. I did a hard save on top of that, and end of mission 3, I'm at level 43, I'm S5, P10 plus 1, E6, C8, I3, A4 plus 1 sneak. I did one on my sneak option for that. I think I'm now up to sneak level 3, and I'm on L5. So, see you guys in the wasteland. See you next week.
That's butter, man.
Yeah, I
Good
agree
job.
with Dennis. You're being very unfair to all the other podcasters.
That's it. I give up. Close the show. Andrew, roll the credits.
I guess we quit. We're done.
Yeah, there are so many people who give feedback to this show or who chime in on one episode or another, and I'm like, your voice, it's like silk. I just want to shut up and listen to you.
Well, as colonials, we're so, you know, entertained by people from across the pond or the Aussies. It's like I could sit there and listen to it all day.
Dude, does our accent, is it as nearly as charming in reverse? Somehow, I assume not, but
No.
I doubt it.
yeah, that's too bad. Well, that's great. Thanks for your submission, Roy. Did you guys find that many mini nukes? He seemed to find like 12 mini nukes.
I think
I don't know if I found all of those.
I think he was talking about unlocking something, so that might be the room with the master
That
lock.
room with the master lock. Okay. Nice. That's what's in there. Mini nukes.
Sometimes it's important to know.
And mini nukes are so heavy in survival, I sometimes don't even notice that they're there because I can't afford to pick them up.
Yeah, they're 12 pounds apiece. So.
Oh, good night.
Ugh.
That's a load. All right, so that was our feedback for this week. Do you guys have anything else you'd like to get into before we close out the show?
I'm not going over the top of that.
Yeah.
Forget about it. I got none to say, but thank you so much for submitting, and we'll gladly listen to anything else you want to submit over and over again.
Please.
I just want to hear him read his special stats over and over.
Yeah, I was like, I got the English accent. I got the English accent and the geek.
I7L2.
And the sass on this guy, I tell you.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Thanks everyone for sending in feedback. Lee, it's great. We like hearing about Santa. Ray, double dose of Ray. That's great. Please keep sending in the great feedback. And Roy topped off our little Sunday with a cherry. Thanks for writing in, Roy.
What about, didn't we get some feedback about the favorite places in Fallout 4, like must-see?
Oh, God, I didn't even think about that. We're already rolling near here to the end of the show. Do you want to get into that really quick?
Oh, we could save it for the... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, we have a different email that I definitely need to get into. This was sent in like 2 seconds after we finished recording last time.
Oh, okay.
We got a listener question from Mike. Mike says, "Hi guys, I love listening to the show. I had a few questions. Maybe you guys had some answers. First question. Sometimes taking down legendary enemies, I notice sometimes as I take down their health, it spikes back up. Doesn't happen all the time, just sometimes. I wasn't sure if you guys have ever experienced this before. I'm not sure if these legendary enemies use stim packs or health items or something. My answer for that is I think every legendary enemy I've ever come across, about when they get about halfway down, you'll see a message up in your top left-hand corner that says, legendary enemy has mutated or something similar to that. And then their health jacks all the way back up. I don't know if they have mutated in some other way, that they have a different power or something that they didn't have before. I'm not sure what exactly that mutation entails, but it does make their health go all the way back up.
Yeah, you basically you have to kill them twice. They almost have double the health. So that's why it's good to take the legendaries out with a one shot them with a sneak kill.
Yeah, normally when that happens, when you're taking them down immediately, it's like, legendary Radroach or something that you're doing so much damage over the top of it. Even if it mutates, you've done enough damage to get past the mutation.
Yeah, I just usually end up with my ass almost handed to me.
and he's also onto something else. I mean, enemies will use stim packs.
Yeah.
Kellogg is notorious for it, but there's other enemies that they have a stim pack that will use them.
Them used stealth boys and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
I've never let Kellogg have a chance to use a stim pack because you find the Fat Man or some mini nukes, and I'm like, I'm using this shit right away, and I just, even before he finishes, I'm like, all right, time to bring it out, but sometimes I get a little overeager and I blow it right in his face and my own as well, but I think it's worth it. I really do. Just blow off his smug little face.
That's the Jeremy effect. Patent pending is just use the mini nuke in the closed room and blow everything to smithereens.
And hope you live.
No, it's more exciting that way. It really is. Trust me. Yeah.
Great. Mike continues on. Second question. Has anyone ever lost a weapon that you have stored? I had a Tesla rifle go missing on me in Sanctuary Settlement. I usually store my weapons in a cabinet or a storage container. Not sure if the NPCs at the settlement can take weapons stored or not.
It's those little fuckers. They will do it.
Yeah, that's those, it's not clabbered. What are those, the new stocks called?
Pillories?
The pillory. That's what those are for. Mike. You need to slap them shits out on the street and make an example of some of them people right now before it gets out of hand.
Those little
But
fuckers.
no, if you have it in your workbench or whatever, they will not all the time, but they will go in there and fish some items out if they want to.
I've never noticed it in the workbench. I've noticed it in other containers, but they'll go into your workbench too. Those bastards. How about a safe? If you put a safe right by your bench, is that locked to them?
No, normally I just throw everything in the workbench because
I
it's
do
just
too.
easier.
I used
But-
to build a safe and then store separate stuff and here and there, but now I just dump everything into the workbench.
Well, that's the Skyrim effect. Is you're just used to having 6,000 different barrels to put this and that.
In a barrel and a large sack and a small sack and exactly.
Well, that was another for me. It was the old like Fallout 3 in New Vegas. You didn't have the workbench, so I would always do like a container for each. I would have a container for ammo, a container for weapons, etc. And I started doing that in Fallout 4. And Dennis, I don't remember if it was you or somebody on the Facebook group had the hint of you because I was having a lot of crashes with my high-level character that I played like hundreds of hours with.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody said that because you having lots of items in containers can do that, and that you have better luck with items in workbenches instead.
Well, I definitely found that in Skyrim, where if you started overloading, your house or whatever, and I think it's carried on to Fallout, is if you overload it, not so much in the workbench, it seems to be okay in the workbench, but if you have a lot of different safes or containers just spread out, the game really seems to bog down, at least on the Xbox.
Yeah, and I have started putting things in the workbench instead of in containers. And it may be my imagination, but it seems like I'm getting fewer random crashes, so that may be working for me as well. So your friendly tips from the Fallout feed.
Whatever works.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get a few crashes here and there. I'm not sure which of my mods are not
Yeah.
agreeing with each other.
Mods definitely add some instability, so I'm trying to play with no more than maybe 5 or 3 to 5 mods. I haven't. When I tried to go to 8 at one point, I was just crashing instantly.
It's not a big deal. It's nothing that I can't deal with to this point. So I'll just keep trudging on with what I have built. Speaking of mods, Pat, we were going to do. Here's the predicament, everyone. Here, I know we're running over here on time, but I'll quickly go through the predicament. I'm using the Conquest mod, which allows you to build a settlement pretty much anywhere. In Far Harbor, there's a Cranberry Island far to the south. Even further south than that, there's a little tiny speck of an island that I have set up my Conquest settlement on, and that's what I needed to clear out of asking if he had like a scrapping mod, because there's a bunch of trees and there's even some like rad barrels there that give off like a pretty high dose of radiation that I wouldn't mind scrapping those and getting rid of those. But since I'm in the Children of Adam, sometimes I actually need to give myself a dose of radiation to increase my intelligence to go with the Inquisitor's cow. But here's the problem with that mod, and it's not built into my Fudge Muppet character. Is I need, what is it, local leader perk number 2 in order to build a workbench for armor and for weapons. And that's something I thought that I couldn't live without. I absolutely had to have that in my settlement. So Pat and I were coming up with ways that we could get myself a couple of workbenches there. And he found this mod that can change your perk. You can like reassign what perks you've taken, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Idea. But I have since decided that because my main purpose was going to be for scrapping. I was just going to scrap all my weapons and armor and use the stuff I get for building on my settlement. But since I'm referring back to my Fudge Muppet build, I've already got my weapon that I'm going to use. I've already got most of the armor I'm going to use. The parts of the armor that I don't have are quest locked later, so I can't get those yet. So I don't really need to be buffing up lots of different armors and stuff like that because they're already in my build, so I already have those things. So I don't really need my weapons or my armor workbench because what I do is I'll just bring everything back and drop it at my feet right in front of the workbench, go into build mode, and just scrap everything that's at my feet. And there, just pop, and that automatically pops back into my workbench, and there I have stuff for building. Try to keep the nicer stuff to sell. But I do need a shop, an ammo shop or something. I need a source of ammunition. Oh, I could make a thing.
The manufacturing.
Manufacturing, yeah. That's
See, I always felt outside of kind of the ASA normal realm, because normally most of the people in ASA are more role-playing centric. But then I watched Andrew trying to manipulate the building system and crafting stations. He's like, well, what can I do to get around this? It's like, hey, man, come on. Maybe you can't have it this time. It's like, no. We will have crafting stations no matter what.
I kind of come to terms that I might not actually need it this time. Breaking out of my my usual role, which is part of the purpose of the round table. So.
Well, one of the questions I wanted to ask real quick, Andrew, is how many, not to put you on the spot, but just vaguely, how many people are doing Fudge Muppet builds as opposed to the traditional roundtable build?
The vast majority of the play-along people are doing classic roundtable.
Oh, really?
Ooh.
Okay.
Which is why I think, especially Roy was giving you his special updates as he was going.
Well, I know. That's why I was dreamily listening to Roy, not just because of his accent, but
Well,
because
I
he was
wasn't-
giving me statistics, and he was S7, this L5. I'm like, oh, so buttery.
I wasn't even listening to the words anymore.
I was thinking, oh, you sunk my battleship.
Oh man, I think we should end on that note because that was pretty awesome.
Amen.
Great. You want to sign us off, Kara?
Sure. All right, guys. We're going to be back again next week, and we will probably continue with some more of the. Well, we will continue with Pat and Dennis's Fallout Feed roundtable feedback. We're very excited to hear that. Even if they're not Ray.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to send my feedback to Ray and let him record it in his voice.
There you go. And we'll get to some of the questions that we asked our listeners. We usually kind of pop off a question or two randomly before we record, and you can always catch those on our Twitter feed, which is, let's see, the @the_Fallout feed, and of course we're pretty active on a Skyrim Attic podcast and the Fallout feed, all one title on Facebook. So but beyond that, if you have any questions or comments of your own, go ahead and shoot us an email. And next time we will see you in the wasteland.
Thanks for listening.
All right.
See you on the island.
All right. Good show. Yeah.